every morning a racist, hypocrite, wannabe Christian spiritual guru named KaroLYIN Leavitt wakes up, looks in the mirror and says, I'm going to go be evil and propagandize for a man that clearly has dementia, who clearly can't put sentences together, who clearly doesn't believe in American democracy. And I'm going to put my Christian cross on, and I'm going to go kiss my 95-year-old husband on my way out the door, and I'm going to go lie to the stupid Fox audience from the top of the day to the very tail end, and then I'm going to rinse and repeat. So let's review some of the crazy shit that KaroLYIN Leavitt said in her press conference yesterday.
Crackdown.
Sure.
First, I was wondering if you could clarify something President Trump said. He mentioned getting rid of the slums where criminals live. Was he talking about tents or permanent residential buildings? And then the mayor has expressed an interest in clarifying how much of a focus illegal immigration enforcement is as part of this crackdown. Can you say anything about that?
Sure.
And third, any preview on the beautification?
3 questions. I'll try to answer all 3 of them pointedly for you. First, when it comes to what you said, and the president said the slums of Washington, D.C., he's referring to the most dangerous communities, neighborhoods, and streets in this city where, unfortunately, violence has ravaged these communities and taken the lives of, again, far too many law-abiding D.C. residents. We know on July 5th of this year, just more than a month ago, a 3-year-old beautiful young girl was shot and killed in her car with her family in one of these communities, which...
Okay. The number one thing that we could do to prevent the 3-year-old's death is to address gun violence. But that party will not address it. They will not address it because they are beholden to the multi-billion-dollar gun industry. And then the same thing, even before Trump, they go around and spew these bullshit talking points. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And in the United States of America, KaroLYIN, lying, religious, hypocrite, twat, if you care about kids, the number one killer in the United States of America of children are guns. So if you care about kids, KaroLYIN, it wouldn't be taking the most vulnerable, labeling them all as criminals and putting them God knows where. It would be dealing with guns. Second thing you could do is pay people a livable wage. The best crime preventer is lifting people out of poverty. MAGA is interested in neither one of these things. And I want to say, everybody opposes crime, KaroLYIN. Democrats oppose crime, which is why we oppose your administration. So it's extra rich to have you come out and try to take the moral high ground and lecture people about crime when you work for a dipshit criminal. Kylie, play the next clip.
However, one thing that has absolutely not changed is the media's negative and downright false coverage of President Trump and his foreign policy accomplishments. From the beginning of this entire process, much of the left-wing media has been actively rooting against the President of the United States in the pursuit of peace. Initially, the media ridiculously claimed that President Trump was somehow beholden to Russia for even agreeing to have a face-to-face discussion with President Putin inside of the United States. The media said President Trump was making a grave mistake by, quote, legitimizing Putin. They were aghast that President Trump would treat another world leader like a world leader. The media relentlessly attacked President Trump and claimed he suffered a, quote, major defeat for not immediately emerging with a final agreement, even though he said heading into that meeting, this was a meeting to listen and to understand how to move the ball forward. All weekend following those historic U.S.-Russia bilateral talks, we listened to clueless pundits on television trying but failing to claim that the president...
Okay, stop right there. Where she's talking about clueless pundits, she knows that she's talking about her boss. We all know what happened behind the scenes here. Trump knows he's compromised by Putin. Everybody saw what they saw happened in Alaska. In a true Trumpian way, they want to wake up and lie to their base, and they get mad about accountability. They get mad about criticism. And Trump and KKK sat probably out by his mugshot right before you get in the Oval and wrote up this little press conference. And he was like, yeah, and say this about the pundits and say that. And they try to do this faux tough guy bullshit. And everybody saw who was the weakest American president we have ever seen who stood on the red carpet after he had American soldiers on their knees rolling out carpet for our adversary and a war criminal, Vladimir Putin, and Kankles McTaco's tits stood on the tarmac clapping for him like a little seal. It is pathetic. KaroLYIN Leavitt is pathetic. And here's what's so fucked up about KaroLYIN Leavitt, you guys. She's not even 30. So think about, people say you get more conservative as you get older. Think about, she's this psycho now. Think about how this is going to age for her. All right, Kylie, play the next clip.
These European leaders at the White House 48 hours after sitting down with President Putin on American soil. In fact, there was so much progress in the readout that was given to these European leaders immediately following his meeting with President Putin that every single one of them got on a plane 48 hours later and flew to the United States of America. And if I could just read for all of you some of the statements from those European leaders yesterday, you had President Zelensky himself saying it was a very good conversation. It was really good. We spoke about very sensitive points. The Secretary General, Mark Rutte, it was the president, only because of the president, that this deadlock was broken, but with President Putin by starting a dialogue. So these leaders, who this war is in their backyard, are very grateful that the president took that call and that he was there to provide them with a readout of Russia's thinking on this, something that was not done by the previous administration at all. Catherine.
Yeah, something that was not done by the previous administration is bending over and letting Vladimir Putin put a shock collar on you and walking you all around a United States military base and having the service members get on their hands and knees and roll out red carpet. He didn't do that for these allies of ours that came in. This is unbelievable. And what she fails to acknowledge, as she calls him, Putin is now flying his tanks, driving his tanks with American flags in them next to a Russian flag. Putin is still bombing the shit out of Ukraine. This is on purpose. He escalated this after the talks in Alaska to show everybody, I'm in control. I'm back on the global stage. I'm in command right now. Trump admitted that when he met with all of the other world leaders, that he didn't want to disrespect Putin and call Putin in front of all of the world leaders, which would have been the way to do it. Hey, we're going to be completely transparent. We have a complete united front here. The United States stands with NATO. We are not going to allow you to continue to advance. You're going to have sanctions. We're going to sanction countries that do business with you. He is weak. He is compromised. I don't know if it's the PP tape. I don't know if Putin has Jeffrey Epstein tapes. I don't know what it is, but it's abundantly obvious that Trump and his administration is controlled by Vladimir Putin. That's my opinion. All right, play the last clip.
Emily.
Thanks, Caroline. I wanted to ask about the 3 U.S. warships that are being sent to Venezuela, and there's 4,000 Marines on board. Are you looking at possibility of boots on the ground there?
What I will say with respect to Venezuela, President Trump has been very clear and consistent. He's prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel. In Maduro, it is the view of this administration, is not a legitimate president. He is a fugitive head of this cartel who has been indicted in the United States for trafficking drugs into the country.
Okay. As you all know, Trump himself is a criminal. He's pardoned drug dealers. He's helped, like the family of El Chapo, I believe, get into the United States of America. What alarms me about this is Rolling Stone reported a few days ago that credible sources within the Trump administration had spoken about Trump wanting to get boots on the ground in Mexico. Now we're getting boots on the ground in Venezuela. Combine all of this, because Trump always telegraphs what he's doing, with his conversation with Zelensky in the Oval, where he said, oh, well, that's great. So if you're at war, so if I'm in war in the next 3.5 years, then I can't have an election and then I can stay in power. And so start combining all of these things together. This is a man who's building a ballroom. I mean, it's like larger than a Walmart supercenter. He has completely turned the Oval Office into his own personal coloring book. It is a disgrace. It would make Liberace blush. He does not want to leave the Oval. I think if it were up to him, he's going to leave the Oval in a body bag because he's trying to get into heaven, as we all know. And so we need to keep an eye on all of his military aggressions, because I think he will start a war intentionally to try to hang on to power. This is why he's sending the troops to DC. They're going to plan to send them to, Pam Bondi was talking about sending them to other blue cities. And they know that they have a little over a year to get the country as authoritarian as they can get it, to subvert our midterm elections. And so we have to keep our eye on every single aspect of this: foreign policy, domestic policy. And we can stay focused. We can empower the leaders that we have. And I encourage people on the left. No leader is perfect for me. Some of them are too corporate beholden. Some of them are not left enough. Some of them take AIPAC money. But our number one thing right now is getting Trump to get to the midterms to where he doesn't corrupt them. And then we can fight within our party and push each other to the left and make each other better and get our politicians out of corporate interest. We can still do some of that right now, but we have to be realistic. We have to be realistic, because people in red states, like in my state right now, women are dying because they can't get abortion care. People that are members of the LGBTQ plus community are fleeing the state of Oklahoma, fleeing other red states because the atmosphere is too dangerous for them to live in. So let's stay focused. Subscribe to our channel, subscribe to other left-leaning channels. Independent news is the way to go, and we'll see you all later.